Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the spiritual practice of loving kindness. It's led by Sundari Malcolm, our friend and our colleague. My name is Andy Engel. I'm senior programmer at Reimagine. For anyone who needs a visual description, I'm a white cisgender male. I've got glasses, graying hair, purple shirt, bright orange, wall in the back. Each month this summer, we're presenting programs on Wednesdays that focus on a theme. This month, our topic is mental health. July, we're focusing on the many facets of grieving, and August will be a time to explore our physical well-being. And we're looking at all these themes, primarily through the lens of growth or transformation. Last week, during Mental Health Month, we traveled to Puerto Rico and learned from a wonderful group of LGBTQ+ leaders on the ways in which they alleviate anxiety about climate change. And next week, Jana Diamond, an ecosomatic practitioner, will guide us in pathways to transform our grief and fear into opportunities for creative practice and presence. Today, Sundari will guide us for about an hour, and you can read more about Sundari in the bio that I'll put in the chat. But I will say that she's just first a wonderful human being, and she's a birth and death doula, a yoga and meditation teacher, and the founder of Soul Sundari Wellness, and a frequent Reimagine presenter. And she's the author of the book Grief Gems, and you should buy that. For those who wish, you can click on the CC icon to get a live transcript of what's being said, and that's at the bottom of your screen. And feel free to send me a note in the chat if you have any technical issues. My colleague Dara Cosberg is also on the call, who's much more of a tech master than I am, so I will consult with her if I don't know anything. And I also want to add that the majority of us are Zooming in from the United States, also known as Turtle Island, by Native Americans and their allies. I'm in Lenapehoking, also known as New York City. Let us know in the chat where you are Zooming in from. And if you're curious about the indigenous land where you're living, you can check out this website. It's native-land.ca, and I'll also put that in the chat. And that is it. I'm going to hand this over now to Sundari Malcolm.
Hello. Hello, thank you, Andy. Thank you, Dara. Thank you to Reimagine. And welcome to those of you who have joined with me this afternoon. I am in Germany, so it's this evening. My name is Sundari Malcolm, and today's workshop, today's gathering, is a spiritual approach to loving kindness. So I think Andy is going to put on a bit of music for us. We're going to begin with a centering practice. I'm going to share my screen with you. Shrink me a bit. We're going to take a moment to come out of our heads and
Sundari,
into our hearts. Yes,
Sundari, I'm
Andy.
so sorry to interrupt.
Okay.
What happens is that if I play sound, I have a note that says that this will stop the other screens sharing.
Okay, so you can share, you can put on music in just 1 second.
Sure.
So we're going to be doing a centering practice, and just as this beautiful woman standing here with one hand over the belly and one hand over the heart, it's what I'm going to ask you all to do. We're beginning this workshop by taking the time to come out of our heads and into our hearts, deciding that whatever happened before this or will happen after this doesn't have to matter right now. We're going to be resetting our mood. For some, closing the eyes during breath work can be a bit triggering, and so I want you to think about using the words, sometimes we call it a mantra, a repeated phrase of just breathe. You can find a place, perhaps across the room, on the wall, on your desk, to gently focus your eyes. If you're sitting by a window, take the gaze outside. But we're going to do a slow inhale, slow exhale as the music begins to play. Repeating to yourself, just breathe, over and over. When you find yourself becoming a bit distracted by thoughts, return back to the phrase. We have hand over belly and heart because we're feeling the connection between the two. Take your time. See if you can feel the heartbeat under one hand. Feeling the breath move under the other. Repeating your mantra, just breathe. Enjoying 3 more breaths this way. At the end of the 3rd breath, allow words, the mantra, to float away. Keep the eyes closed or fixed in its gaze and bring the hands back down to your lap. Just sitting for a moment with the breath. And then when you're ready, you can slowly come back to the camera. Maybe wiggle fingers, maybe wiggle toes. Give a little twist in each direction to wake up your spine, a little roll of the head and the neck. And we'll begin. So why are you here? And why did I want to create this workshop? Outside of Loving Reimagine and the work that they do, there are 2 main reasons. I come from a line of deeply spiritual and religious women and healers, but I prefer to teach the spiritual application of healing because, as my own teacher taught me, truth is one and paths are many. So it's not about who you worship or believe in. It's about creating a personal practice based on ancient techniques to help you manage yourself. It's inward facing, and it reminds us of the power that we inherently carry. The second reason, I think it's bullshit when the toxic positivity campaign tells us to just practice self-care, just love yourself, just meditate. I lost both of my parents after long illnesses, close together, and having been their caregiver. I've also dealt with chronic health issues and a myriad of life's other minefields. And there were times when I couldn't bother to eat, let alone love myself. There were times when I was so low that there was no chance that I was going to sit in meditation and gather myself together. There were times when silence freaked me out, when noises freaked me out. And when I was in the midst of really heavy moments, I have needed sometimes someone else to step in and guide me. And that's what this workshop is for. I want you to walk away learning how to actually apply love to yourself rather than just being told to do it. I want you to learn about different ancient healing modalities. And I hope to be a guide for you today as you begin again in this now moment. So we're going to try another breathing technique. Don't worry, you won't just be breathing with me today. But this one is to bring in a bit more balance. Nadi Sudi. Can we all say that together, even if your microphones are off? Nadi Sudi. You can tell my mother was a teacher, right? Nadi Sudi. So this is an ancient healing Indian practice. So Nadi means nerves. Sudi or Shodhana, which you might hear sometimes if you research it, means cleaning or purification. So Nadi Sudi, Nadi Shodhana literally means the cleaning of the nerves. So why am I asking you to do this? I've heard many, many times from clients and students over the years, like, I don't need to practice breathing. I don't have time for this. And the truth is, even if your mind isn't ready for it, even if your mood is a hot mess, even if the last thing you can do in this moment is focus, you actually don't have to worry about you when practicing breathing, because you allow yourself to just let the nervous system take over. It will respond. For those who aren't into like the esoteric side of why we practice this breath, it synchronizes the two hemispheres of the brain. It provides mental clarity and ability for concentration. It purifies the blood by bringing more oxygen in. For those like me who are a bit more into the hoo-hoo of it all or the woo-hoo of it all, it purifies the subtle energy channels. So we call this chakra line our Nudi center. It purifies that energy channel so that the prana or the life force energy can flow more evenly. It balances the masculine energy in the body with the feminine energy in the body. So there's lots of good reasons to practice this. So it's a little awkward. We're going to use our hands. And you're going to use your right hand. Left hand is just going to rest in your lap. So you're going to be going like this. Now, the key to this is try not to keep your arm all the way up here. That's going to become super uncomfortable. Just let it kind of hang out against your ribs. You are extending your last two fingers and your thumb. Andy can play a little music as we're beginning to practice this. Now, what will happen if you have fingers like me? My last two fingers don't stay together and it becomes really uncomfortable. So I modify this for myself and I just do pinky and thumb. Now, we're not jamming the nose as we go from side to side. This is gentle, right? So I'm going to lead you through it. I'm going to tell you which one to close, and it's just gentle. So we'll practice before we begin. I want you to take a deep breath in. And out. Now take a deep breath in and close your right nostril with your thumb. You're just practicing. Exhale out of your left. Inhale just through your left nostril. Use your pinky to close your left nostril as you exhale out of your right nostril. It should be fluid. Inhale through the right. As you close the right with your thumb, exhale through the left, releasing the pinky. Right? You got to release to breathe. Inhale through the left. Close the left with the pinky as you release the thumb and exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Close the right as you release the pinky and exhale through the left. Take your hand down for a second. So try not to get too lost in the mechanics of it, right? It's actually easier than your brain is probably making it. You can't breathe while your nose is blocked, so move your finger, right? As you go from side to side, whatever you're going to breathe out or in of is the finger that you are releasing. When you want to practice this at home, and I will be sending you follow-up emails and homework, I will send you a link to somebody doing this on YouTube so you can also practice along and see. You might want to blow your nose. Sometimes one of us have a nostril that is blocked, so you can prepare yourself. But otherwise, bring your hand up. Again, it's that pinky and if you can manage this ring finger also, go ahead. And then it's the thumb. Just bring your hand in front of your nose. Again, you can close your eyes or focus your gaze. You're not closing any nostril yet. You're just prepared. Maybe they're just resting on the bridge of your nose. Thinking about the intention of what you are doing, which is balancing the body. Deep breath in. Close the right nostril as you exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Close. Exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Close. Exhale through the left. Inhale through the right. Close. Exhale through the left. I might have skipped something. Inhale through the left. Close. Exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Close. Exhale through the left. Inhale. Close. Exhale. 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 After the exhale, whenever you're ready, bring your hands down to your lap and just continue to breathe. Noticing if you feel a difference between this breath and the one we began with. And then when you're ready, slowly opening your eyes and coming back to your computer. You need to wiggle fingers, give yourself the time to do so. So what comes up when you begin to slow down? When we're in the midst of trauma or grief or walking in our healing journey, it's not easy. And it can be scary to face what we spent so long trying to ignore. But we are always pouring from an empty cup. When we're not sure of who we are or what we're feeling or what we need or what our boundaries are. So let's just name it first. Looking at the screen, we see things like anxiety, frustrated, stressed, calm. I'd like us to use the chat. What came up for you in these breathing practices? What are you noticing either about your breath or your emotional state? We can share one word or multiple. But what's coming up for you? Frustration, sadness, heavy grief, distraction, calm, anxiety, frustration, calm. This has centered me. Calm, relaxation. Came into the call in a rage, I hear you. That my body needs to do this again daily to maintain focus. Beautiful. Slowing down brings feelings of peace and being present. Wonderful. Calm and release. Continue to use the chat. This is why we become open to other cultures and other modalities, because perhaps what used to work now doesn't. Or even more important, what works on one day doesn't work on another day. Maybe your faith in your faith has been rocked and you need something new to restore it. Growing and healing is fluid, and our approaches to it and to ourselves must be also. So we're going to start to explore a few more practices. Andy is going to cue something for us. But we're going to talk about chanting. So when people hear the word chant, they get real nervous. For those who are worried, it's just a song. It's a hymn. It's an affirmation set to music. We chant because it's an opportunity to move energy through and out of the body. We chant because we know the benefits of sound frequency, and the tones of chants create a healing frequency within your body and therefore within yourselves. Because when you practice it within a group, it helps to raise the vibration of the collective. We're going to be chanting Hari Om together. I will not ask you to do this with your microphone off. You can do this with your microphone on. You can do this with your microphone off. You can turn your camera off if you would like to. But I want to explain to you what Hari Om is. Hari, H-A-R-I, comes from Hara, which means the force that takes away, the force that removes. Hari is the remover of pain, the remover of negativity, the remover of obstacles. And then Om is the sound of cosmic vibration. So it's the sound, we believe, from which the cosmos and creation sprang. So when you say Om, Hari Om, you are speaking to the universe, asking it to remove suffering from you, from those you love. And you are doing so by bringing in a vibration that the cosmos understands. So what a beautiful way to be kind to yourself and in tune with the universe. Swami Satchidananda will be leading this Hari Om chant, and we're going to do it in call and response. So he will go first, and then you respond. And I urge you to chant wherever you are, to raise your frequency. And we'll begin. You can clap, you can move, you can dance around your home. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari 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 Om. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari 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 Om. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Hari Om. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Hari Om. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari 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 Om.
Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari 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 Om, Hari 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 Om, Hari 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 Om, 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 Hari 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 Om, 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 Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari 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 Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari 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 Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari 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 Om.
Taking a deep breath in and a long breath out. What an easy opportunity to lift your vibration. And imagine those who benefit from being in your new energetic field. Take a moment just to see how that frequency felt in your body. And then we will come back to our screens. I'll turn my camera off for a moment. This is you guys chanting. I just really loved this. This guy, excuse me, on the microphone. Okay, so we're going to move into journaling or writing. So if you grab a pen and paper, if you have a journal, no one will read this. This is just for you. But I'm a big believer in writing. I do something often with my clients and my students, for lack of a better term, I call it word vomiting. But it's the idea that when you are having a hard time, when you are feeling overwhelmed, when you feel like things are swirling in the head, that you sit down and without worrying about grammar and how this sounds and the idea that someone might see this or that you might have to reread it later, you just pour out onto a page. And then I often move them through a fire ceremony or through a ritual where we can release at our altars. And we will be talking about altars soon. For this practice, we've heard about gratitude journals before, right? Which is when you write all the things that you feel good about. And while I love a gratitude journal, I think when you're dealing with heavy stuff, it can be real hard to figure out what feels good in the moment. What is possible is recognizing that who we are in this moment is not who we were yesterday and not who we were last week, and maybe not the same person that dealt with the loss or the trauma. I also believe I am not who I am going to be tomorrow, next week, or next month. Now, I don't mean I'm going to swing to a completely different personality, but there are versions of myself that bloom daily. And so as somebody who has moved and continues to move through her own healing journey, there are times when I have to stop and think about who I was last year, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and thank her for delivering me to now. So Andy can play a little music as soon as I stop sharing. But you're going to take a few moments and write a letter of gratitude to the version of you that existed before you decided to take a more spiritual approach, a deeper approach to loving kindness for yourself and for others. You can just write along to the music. Try not to think about grammar. No one is reading this. Just talk to yourself. Talk to her, to him, to they.
Hari Om, Hari Om.
If you're just joining us, welcome. We have moved through breathing practices and chanting, and now we are journaling. The question people are journaling about is they are writing a letter of gratitude to the version that existed before this now moment, the version that has delivered them to today. If you have any questions, you can chat me directly. Otherwise, take your time. take about 2 more minutes with your love letter, your gratitude letter. You can always finish at another time, but it's your 2-minute cue. Taking your time to put whatever final touches you'd like to put on your letter. I'll speak a bit while you're finishing up. I urge you to continue this practice, to come back to these letters if you wish not to burn them. I actually keep mine sometimes. And when I'm in moments of feeling like I haven't done much, I haven't progressed any, I'm still as griefy or as sad as I was before, I find my letters. And I read and see how far I've come. And it is a reminder, a physical reminder that I am moving forward, even if it's baby steps. So you can choose to do with these what you like, but I think they're important. We've moved the breath now to be able to come out of the head and into the heart. We've used ancient chanting to raise our vibration and remove negativity from ourselves and the collective. We've written letters in love to the version of us who brought us here. And now it's time to open up the body and allow this new vibration and breath and love to enter places that we've kept dark. This will be gentle, I promise you. I see some of my old students here. We will not have some of our old classes in this moment. It's going to be a real easy breezy practice. But before the yoga that we know today and the spread message that yoga began in India, yoga was actually called Adi Anka. And it originated in Kemet, or what we know as ancient Egypt. So etched on temple walls and on papyrus paper are poses that they used consistently and believed could be used to attain divine happiness, health, and a holistic union. Adi, A-R-I, means action or karma. Ankh, which you probably know the symbol for, means eternal life. And Ka, K-A, is your energetic body. The idea was through this action, you would attain eternal life by accessing your energetic body. So yoga goes way back, further back than we believed. So I'm going to ask that you begin standing. You don't need a yoga mat. You don't need yoga clothes. You will wind up laying down at the end of this, though you can certainly sit down. But we're going to start by standing. You don't need special clothes. I'm not going to make you do crazy poses. Andy can begin to turn up the music. And you're going to come stand on your 2 feet, making sure that your feet are underneath your hips, that your arms are alongside your body. Some of us have a tendency to lock our knees, so try to soften your knees. I usually notice that I clench my butt cheeks when I stand up, so notice, relax your butt. As you stand in mountain pose. Mountain pose, the palms are going to face forward and the fingers spread even though the arms are rested. And I want you to think about grounding, connecting to the earth through the soles of your feet. Imagining that that energy that you've cultivated today is creating space in the ribs, creating space in the chest and in the shoulders, so that you can almost feel yourself lengthen through the crown of your head, through the back of your neck. And what are mountains but these beautiful gifts birthed by pressure? These beautiful standing gifts that are impervious to rain or wind, that are able to withstand what comes at it, towards it, and around it. Sometimes we have to fake it till we make it. So no matter how you are feeling in this moment, imagine that you can summon the power of a mountain in this pose. The resilience of a mountain in this pose. And take a deep breath in and a long breath out. Bring the hands together in prayer at heart center. And then lift your hands over your head in prayer. Notice if you draw your shoulders all the way up, and even though the hands are up and in prayer, try to draw your shoulders back down. As we move into standing crescent moon, imagine what a crescent moon looks like, and make your hips go to the left as you take your torso and your prayer hands to the right. And if the hips are moving to the left, you should feel that stretch around the outside of the left side of the body. Do you think about how the moon bends in its light? Inhaling up through center and exhaling into the other side, hips moving away from the hands. Can you also shine light while becoming fluid and moving? Come back up to stand and bring the hands to your hips, taking them out of prayer pose, and take a deep breath in and a long breath out through the mouth. Continue to move energy by moving the circles in a hip, by moving your hips in a circle, by moving your chest in a circle. Again, notice if your knees are locked, if your butt is tense. How soft can you make this? How much energy can you bring to your spine? Energy is only able to be moved throughout and out when we put action behind it. So move what you have brought up. That frustration, that anger, the trigger of grief, whatever you need to release, imagine that you can by moving your body. And then take your hands all the way up to the sky, and it's like someone pulls your fingertips up and your shoulders up and your ribs up. And then as you soften your knees, fold over yourself so your fingers dangle by your toes and you are in standing forward bend. This can be a lot on the hamstrings. So again, soften your knees. Maybe your feet need to be a little wider than your hips. Notice if you're holding your head up and let it go. Relax your arms. If you want to sway from side to side, sway, but otherwise breathe. Let your lower back expand. Create space. Take a breath here. And then come to sit. Nice and slow, and stretch your legs out in front of you. Take your time. You're sitting up nice and straight. The legs are still hip distance apart or a little bit wider, but now your feet are flexed. Your hands are on the ground on either side of your hips as you sit in staff pose. Using this as again as a chance to ground through hands to the crown of the head. Feel all the places where your body touches the floor. Maybe it's the base of your heels. Sometimes sitting up tall in this position can be intense. So if it is, bend your knees. But take a breath. And then bring the soles of your feet together in butterfly pose and hold onto your ankles. And just as we did that standing hip movement, I want you to move in your hips here in a circle. Move slower than you think you should move. Match your breath. We pay attention to the hips because the hips are what hold emotion in the body. It is the energetic gateway of your root chakra. So when we open hips, we allow emotions to process easier and with grace and ease. It also can bring up what we've been ignoring. Reverse your circle if you are moving in one direction. And then give yourself a big stretch up as you release your ankles, and then to one side, one hand down, the other one up. Breathe into the ribs and then into the other side. And then come back up and come to lay down on your back. If you can't lay down where you are, sit up. You can lay down, put some pillows or something under your knees, relax your lower back. For those of us with booties, laying straight on your back can be really uncomfortable. So put things under your knee. Your eyes can be closed or open. But check in with yourself and just see how that was about 4 minutes of yoga, how it felt. Maybe it just reminded you you need to do more of it. Sometimes when we take these workshops, we can begin to think, okay, that's great, but I don't know how I'm supposed to actually put this into effect into my own life. And so as you lay here and rest, I want to talk to you about how to build your day. And I will email this to you later so you don't have to remember it. But if we are thinking about the spiritual approach of loving and kindness, not just to ourselves, but to others, to me, it is by putting in little, tiny, doable things throughout the day that raise my vibration, that allow others to benefit. Many of our ancient cultures believed in keeping sacred time, so either in line with nature or in line with the actual hours on a clock. And I think this is a really beautiful way to begin to approach your day. When you follow ancient Egyptian sacred time, it wakes you up at 4:30. So I'm not going to have you do that yet, though if you are interested, I will include that in the email I send to you. But let's just think about how we can create sacred time in the day that we already have. And I suggest scheduling these like meetings that you have with your boss that you can't miss. Put them in your phone and in bold and set alarms. After waking, before getting out of bed, having the affirmations of I am blessed and I can handle today. Doing the breath work that we practiced for 5 minutes or less. Lighting a candle before you get ready so that you can candle gaze as you're getting your clothes on. Instead of turning on the news or turning on the television or checking Instagram, deciding to go to Spotify or iTunes and finding a playlist for a healing frequency like 936 hertz, which is about opening your heart chakra. If you take a shower in the morning or a bath, pour eucalyptus oil in or lavender. When you come out, if you're someone that uses lotion, instead of using the typical stuff that you can get at CVS, use a jojoba or almond or rose. Pamper yourself. Have a cup of the tea, which we will talk about later, room temperature as you're walking around. Dandelion tea, because dandelion tea is what unblocks the liver The liver is what holds on to grief and anger. Decide to set an intention for yourself before leaving, that only goodness and grace and love comes to you and all those you come in contact with. In your afternoon between 12 and 2, check in with your intentions that actually happened. Are you able to do more of that? Practice some breath work for 5 minutes or less. When you get home between 6 and 9, or when you get home, most people are between 6 and 9, and that is the sacred time. Purify yourself before you touch anything else in your house. Use sage or Palo Santo or Florida water. Sweep the entrance of your door. Make the intention that you will not carry the nonsense of the outside into the peace of your home. Check in with yourself. Do you need to move your body? Do you need to word vomit in a journal? Do you need to listen to heavy metal and scream? What do you need in the moment? Make your tea for the next morning. We make this in stainless steel or copper pots only, no aluminum. Let it sit overnight and covered. That's how the ancient Africans. In bed, repeat the affirmations. I made it. I deserve rest now. I am proud of myself. When we can begin to imagine ourselves like a light bulb, you will see that when you work on yourself, when you pour into yourself, you become brighter. And everything in the room is lit up by you. By these little things moved into your day without too much effort, you've poured love and kindness into yourself all day long. And everyone around you is going to thrive from your light. Give yourself a big stretch and a big breath. As Andy will slowly turn down the music, as you slowly take your time to come back to sit. We're going to move into breakout rooms because I would like you to share with each other what is going to be your first step. When you leave here, it doesn't matter if you had a spiritual practice before or not. What are you going to do for yourself? How are you going to turn your light bulb on? What is your plan, even if it's just one single baby step? We'll be moving into breakout rooms. We're going to start with January birthdays. That's how you'll know who talks first. I will put this in the chat. So January, then February, then March, and April. Enjoy meeting each other and sharing. Hello, hello, hello. I think we are in a breakout room together. Hi, guys. So for this, I'm going to need you to come onto the camera, or at least turn your microphones on so that we can hear each other and see each other in this breakout room. We're going to start with January birthdays. We are only here for a short time together. So let's begin. January birthdays. The question was, what is going to be your first step? February. March. April. May. Are people here?
So I think this is not actually a breakout room. This is like still in the main room.
So there are people that need to be taken to breakout room.
Yeah, or they're not, I don't know. if people, I mean, we can just
Okay,
do
great.
this.
So
as a work-
Andy,
Yeah.
Andy, can we just move everyone else into breakout rooms?
Sure.
And Sundari, do you want to go into one of the breakout rooms too?
For others who are in this room, oh, here comes someone. I don't see them as unassigned. Like Obayinka, I don't see them as unassigned. Tamara came back, it seems.
I think they need to click the join breakout room, either if they're on the phone, it's in the top left corner, or in on the bottom if they're on a computer.
Let's see.
Because sometimes it doesn't automatically send you, and you have to like click something.
I got assigned a room, and when I got to it, I couldn't interact. I couldn't see videos, so I had to exit out, and it brought me back here. What should I do?
Andy's working on it, Lil. Andy will get
Okay.
you in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah, it's funny. Lil is not in my unassigned section. So I can't seem to move her into the 3 rooms.
Lil, do you see I don't know if you're either on a computer or a phone, but if you're on the computer, there should be a button at the bottom of the console that says join breakout room that you have to like click it again.
Oh, I see Lil has already been assigned to room 2, but it says she is not joined.
Yeah,
Yes,
when
so-
I went there, I couldn't do anything.
Lil, I can move you to another room. I'll move you to room 3. We'll try that. How about that?
Okay.
There you go. I just moved you to room 3.
But you might need to click on something on your screen. If you're on your phone, I have it in the
She's
top left.
gone. She's gone.
Okay. Okay, hopefully it worked. Great.
Okay,
Oh my
so we'll bring
God.
people
So
back.
much technology.
I know. We'll bring
Too
people
much.
back at 7:05. It's not a whole lot of time. It gives them like 6-7 minutes, but
Okay.
I want to end people on time.
Yeah.
And we won't need music for the end, Andy.
Okay.
But if you could just drag them all back in at 7:05.
All right. I'm setting my timer now for 7 minutes.
No,
Oh,
it's
no.
7:03. They need 2 minutes.
Sorry.
Wait, were they actually in there for the full? It doesn't feel like that long of time. Are you sure? Are you sure what time we
We
actually
started it at 6:55, 6:56. So Lil was
Oh.
late, and so were a couple
Oh,
other
okay.
people. But we were only giving them 7 minutes. They only have to say one thing.
Oh, got it.
But
Okay.
I want to bring them back, and we have a ceremony to do at the end, and I want to leave room for questions, and we end
Yeah.
in like 10 minutes.
Got
So
it.
Great.
how's it going so far?
It's going wonderfully. You are
Great.
excellent as usual.
I'm feeling very relaxed.
Oh, good. Good.
I know, I'm just gonna like watch this again and again. And I definitely, when you send out the stuff, please send
Yeah.
it to me too.
Yeah, I absolutely will.
And Sundari, if you want to send out a separate email, that's fine. It'll take us.
No, it
maybe-
can come from Reimagine. It
Oh,
just, I
great.
want to, it can come from Reimagine. I just want it to be that schedule I talked about.
You'll
And
send
then
me
I'm gonna
stuff.
give them like a homework kind of thing.
Great.
Yeah.
You'll send me
And we
stuff.
we can also provide, your, I don't know if they already have it, but your contact info, or you know what I mean? Like, you can also include ways for them to get in touch with you or
Perfect.
learn about whatever you're doing, whatever you want.
Okay, so we can do like a 30-second countdown with them, maybe. I think you can send that to them.
Okay, will do.
And then can you see what's on this altar, or should I close the window?
No, that looks good.
Okay.
All
Wait,
right.
I don't see anything.
Oh, I see a glass on the right. I see
Oh,
a
okay, yeah,
bottle.
now I do. Sorry, no, I didn't see it at first.
All right,
Okay.
so I'm going to close, and then I think that should give us like a minute.
Okay.
Yep, 60 seconds.
Perfect. So I know you can't see my face. It's okay. I need you to be able to see this. Hello, Joy.
Hey, am I the only one back?
Yeah, you're the only one back yet, but that's okay. People come floating in. As people are coming in, you feel free to put into the chat as you're coming in, either what you said you were going to do or what you learned in your group. Maybe it was an idea from someone else. So hello, everyone, as you're coming back, please feel free to use the chat. You can say what you're going to do. If you'd like to give other ideas to people who are not in your group, you can also, if you'd like to share something that came up that was interesting in your breakout room, use the chat before we move on to our final portion, but I'd love to hear. So integrating breath work, love the breathing and the writing. Also interested in the dinner party. Good, I'll do questions and answers at the end of this if you have questions. Breathing for sure, trying to do in the mornings. I am breath work, breath work, breath work. If there's nothing else I do in the whole day, it's that. Using the Palo Santo when you walk in your home. Yes, cleanse your spirit. Think about all the energies that are out there. Humans are crazy these days. You gotta wrap yourself, cleanse yourself. Reviewing intentions for the day. Absolutely. And you can put these things in your phone, right? We're always on our phones. Put in on your phone exactly what you're going to do at what time. Remind yourself, let it go off in your phone and remind you like, okay, and here's the thing, you don't need to be sitting at an altar. You can do breath work on a toilet. You can do breath work sitting in the shower, right? You don't need the journal to do the word practice. You can write it on a piece of paper. Sometimes we get hung up in thinking that we need all of the correct things in order to do the practice. You don't need a yoga mat. You can use a sheet, right? Never stop yourself from doing something for yourself because you think you don't have the right tool. You are the correct tool. So we are going to end with something called a puja. And first, what we're doing is, and why I'm kind of off to the side, is because I'm trying to show you this altar. So why an altar? An altar is a physical place for you to be in devotion to yourself. It's a place for you to pay honor to those who came before you. It's a place for you to check in for your healing, your pain. It becomes a witness to your joy and to your stories. And I believe that simply by making the time to sit at your altar is a huge act of love, because it means that you're willing to bear witness to what needs to be seen. Why a ritual? And that's what a puja is. It's the Indian word for ritual. Because rituals connect you to something greater than yourself. Because sometimes we lack confidence when our world has been rocked by trauma and pain. We mostly lack confidence in knowing what works or what's gonna work. And the beautiful thing about rituals is thousands of people over thousands of years have already tested this out for you. When you come to your altar, it's important to pay it respect. So one, everything on your altar should be clean, and you should clean it often. There is nothing more embarrassing to your ancestors than a dusty, dirty altar. So every couple days, you should be clearing this off and set intention with it. Use purified water, right? You want to approach this with the love it deserves. Set an intention every time you sit down. I am sitting down today to access the anxiety that I've been carrying around today. I am sitting down to spend some time thinking about my mother. I'm sitting down just to be present. I'm sitting down because I just need to be around things that remind me of divinity because my boss is making me crazy. Set your intention. Be open and honest. My intention for sitting at and this is one of my altars today, is that I am going to do this ceremony in dedication to your healing journey as you move forward. People often ask what's on an altar and what do I need? So it can be anything. Get a cardboard box and put a cloth over it, right? Again, you do not need the big fancy altar. On mine, and I'll show you a couple pictures when we're done of other altars that I have saved. I have incense. I prefer Nag Champa. It's my fave, but you should find yours. I have certain crystals. I always keep lapis lazuli because it's good for women and their wombs, specifically in ancient African traditions. I always keep selenite for focus. And I always keep a little tourmaline. Those are my favorite. I always have ones around my computer and my bed and wherever else I am, but that's what kind of sits stationary. I have frankincense oil, organic. Frankincense, because frankincense is the oil of our ancient practices. There's lots of great, beautiful oils out there, but frankincense is the one that we use in rituals and practices. I have Florida water because Black Americans brought Florida water with them into their hoodoo practices in order to cleanse and purify. So you can buy this literally anywhere. You can buy this at a CVS, but you will also find this in any hoodoo or voodoo or healer's bag, Florida water. You can put some on yourself. I bless, meaning I pour some out onto my altar before I begin. I also will sprinkle a few drops on my head. I also put this in my mop water, and this is how I clean my floors and all my counters, water and Florida water. You can research Florida water and the history of this. I keep a bell and flowers. So as is in tradition, I'd love for each time I offer something to the camera. What typically happens in a puja is that we reach our hands out, and then what is being offered to you, you bring up over the head the energy that is coming with it, and you allow it to cover your body. So we will move through this. This is going to be a small puja. Pujas sometimes last 3 hours. This is going to last 3 minutes. But it is an example for you to understand what you can do for yourself, things that you can probably find in town or city that you live in. But rituals are important. Okay. Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om. So you can bring whatever comes towards you over the head. Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om. 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 Bringing your hands together in prayer and the eyes closed as we chant briefly together the words of asking for peace for us and the collective. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om. Om. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Sundari. It's amazing that someone like you can take these little Zoom boxes and dissolve them with your intimacy, with your intention, with your beauty, with your poetry, with your spirituality. We're also just very grateful. Let's just give a little shout out to Sundari.
Thank you. Thank you
Love.
for being here. I
Um,
can stay on a bit if people have questions. I'll
That's
stay on for a little
lovely.
bit.
Thank
And know
you.
that I'm also going to send a follow-up with that schedule we talked about how to build your day. And also some tips that I have for you on something that I call the love and kindness bowl that you can make in your house. And so that should be sent out soon. So
I just want to add that I put in the chat Sundari's website, a link to her book, and I hope to see some of you next Wednesday for our workshop with Jana Diamond. That's also in the links. Thank you all.
thank you everyone for coming. Thank you, thank you.